vegan beefaroni, or a version of hamburger helper, I guess, if you'd like to call it. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Eric. We're doing Takeout Tuesday inside today. We've had enough dining out the past couple of weeks. I figured I'd throw together something that's fairly quick that everyone can probably associate with some form or another. Heck, it's macaroni and cheese with some stuff in it. We'll make it all vegan, plant-based, however you like it. I got some water on to boil. We got some elbow noodles. They're just plain elbow noodles. I measured out one serving, 85 grams, or 3/4 of a cup for this type of noodle. I did try this recipe with a fusilli noodle, which was also one serving. It was about a cup of noodle just because of the way they're sized, but it worked out well. So we got pasta. We have some onion. This is a fair amount of onion, but I don't mind onion in mine. So I got 1/4 of a fairly large red onion. You can do half a small one, small. I got 1 clove of garlic, and I got a half a cup of almond milk and a 1/4 cup of vegan cheese powder, and a 1/4 package of Eve's original ground crumble, and pizza sauce. You can get jarred pizza sauce, you can get squirt bottle, whatever kind of pizza sauce you like. I found this makes a decent serving for myself. I tend to like a large portion. I'd like more probably, but this actually is probably a good amount. So if you're 2 people, or if you want leftovers, feel free to double it up, quadruple it if you want. Full recipe will be on my website. I'll link it below in the description, including a recipe for the cheese powder. If you don't want to do a cheese powder, feel free to go and use something like this. I highly recommend this Modern Table Vegan Mac. I obtained this when I was in the States last year at Whole Foods. They didn't have that brand at Whole Foods in Canada, but they do have a couple other vegan mac ones. The Modern Table one, it's also gluten-free. They make the noodles, pastas with lentils and rice and peas. Cheese sauce is gluten-free, and it's very tasty. The original one, or the classic style, the Southwest one, I really like. I'll give that 2 thumbs up for sure. So we got the water on for the pasta. I'm just going to throw some salt in that. It seems like a lot, but that's not a bad thing with pasta. So we're going to put that in there to boil, and that's going to be about 6 minutes. So in that time, I'm also going to saute this onion and garlic and warm up the ground crumble. And if you have some other vegetables, peas, carrots, corn, whatever that you'd like to throw in, feel free. You can put whatever you want. Just, change things up. I'm not following a strict recipe. I'm going to give you a recipe, but you don't have to follow it by any means. Mix it up how you'd like. So just give those a little bit of a stir so they're not sticking together. I don't have any oil in this pan for the onions and stuff, but it probably doesn't really need it. Get some garlic diced up. And again, if you don't like onions, don't like garlic, don't put it in. Keeping this kind of plain. You could add whatever seasoning, some taco seasoning to it. You could add whatever. Today I'm doing sort of what a canned beefaroni would be like, I guess. Kind of a cheesy, tomatoey pasta. And that's it. And the pizza sauce, it sort of has some of the herbs and stuff like that that you're going to end up seeing in a beefaroni. You might be surprised that when it comes to beefaroni, it already includes a meat replacement in there. It has textured vegetable protein. All those little lumps you think are ground beef are not ground beef. Some of it is textured vegetable protein. We're just making it all textured vegetable protein. And for the cheese in beefaroni, they have some kind of processed cheese spread. We got this vegan cheese powder I made up. And it has nutritional yeast, it has some flour, it has some cornstarch, it has cashews, onion powder, garlic powder. Recipe for it will be on the website as well. You just take all those ingredients, throw them in a blender or a food processor, and process it until it's a powder. You don't want a puree. You don't want to go and liquefy the nuts, but just keep an eye on it. Once it's a good fine powder texture, take it out. I do up a bunch of it. I have a bag on hand, and for a recipe like this I can take out a 1/4 cup, a 1/2 cup, depending on what I'm making, how much of it I want. I find in this case, a single recipe like this, 1 serving of pasta, a 1/4 cup of powder, a 1/2 cup of plant milk, and a 1/4 package of the Eve's ground cuisine, which is 85 grams as well, same as the pasta. So, collapsible, works nicely. I've run into a problem. My overhead camera has overheated. So I got side cameras catching it. So put the Eve's ground crumble in there. And see, it definitely looks like a brown ground beef product. If you have a scratch recipe for ground beef, or if you want to use the Beyond ground or the Impossible ground, Vanlife makes, all the different vegan food companies make a vegan ground pretty much. Or take your favorite veggie hamburger and chop it up. Do the same thing. Just going to throw a little bit of water in there just to get it unstuck from the bottom of the pan. Grab a noodle and try it, see if we're close. Yep. We're going to turn the heat off on the back burner for a second. We are going to strain the noodles. back to the stove here for a sec. So here to this meat and onions, we're going to add 4 tablespoons worth of pizza sauce. So just going to mix that and let that warm up. We moved on to the front burner here, the pot that the pasta was in. So I'm going to take a half cup of plant milk and throw that in there, and the 1/4 cup of cheese powder. Now I'm just going to stir to combine that. Now, because there's cornstarch and flour in there, when this heats up, it's going to thicken, and it thickens a fair amount. You might actually want to thin it out some. You can thin it out with a bit of water, or you can thin it out by adding in some more plant milk. But you probably don't want to just add this into the pasta and try and mix it. You're going to want to do this mixing first. So add your cheese powder when your milk is still cold, so it starts blending. And then once it's warmed up, it will thicken. And once it's thick, we're starting to thicken, we'll add the pasta back in here, give it a mix, and we'll add the stuff from the frying pan, and then we can enjoy. There. Up a fair amount in there. It's starting to leave the bottom of the pan clean when I run the spoon through it. All right. So it's thickened up a decent amount. We can actually turn the heat off that burner now. We're going to add our pasta in. And give that a toss. Heck, and this is good mac and cheese, just like this. Very tasty. You don't need to add anything else to it. But we're doing beefaroni today. So that's mixed up. And if you want to, you could have done this in just one pot. I just tried to get it done while the noodles were boiling. I did it in a separate one, but after the noodles are cooked and sitting to the side, you could brown your ground beef and everything there, and then, you know, mix in the milk and the cheese powder to it there. But we'll get a little shot here on the side cam. You know, that's what it looks like. You know, I don't know if you can see the reddish color in that. This camera here might be still running. So get a little bit, you know, looking good. Here, can we see it on the spoon? Oh, doesn't that look good? So we are going to take a bowl. I like these bowls. They're nice and fairly wide. They got a nice high side on, not super high. This is what I like to have my pasta and stuff in. I got smaller bowls for cereal, that kind of stuff. But I like these for a pasta. That's it. We'll grab a spoon. Do you like a big spoon or a little spoon with your macaroni? Or a fork? Fork? Spoon? Little spoon? Leave your vote in the comments. I think I'm going with a big spoon. I'll take small bites. Everyone needs to try this. It's pretty simple. Pretty quick. Pretty tasty. It's just the pizza sauce that really changes it up. So, take your favorite box of vegan mac and cheese. Make it up as per instructions. Or add some ground crumble, whatever brand you like. Or homemade if you have. And a little bit of pizza sauce. It's a good thing. Is that Martha Stewart? It's a delicious thing. So, if you made it this far and you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe down below. And make sure you check out the description for links to my website for the full recipe and the recipe for the cheese powder as well. And that way you don't have to try and figure it out from the video. Thanks for watching, everyone. Click up here for something else I've made. And click this one down here for something YouTube recommends you watch. Later.